Welcome to Creative Pages with Catherine. I'm Catherine, and it's time for sketch number 2 for the April 2024 Creative Memories Virtual Crop. I am going to be working with the Devotion collection this time, and I'm going to get things switched over so that way y'all can see what we're going to be doing. Here we go. Oh, trying to keep some of my small squares in order and it's not working out for me. Give me just a half a second here. Okay. Whew. I almost lost my other page. It is what it is. But anyways, this is our sketch number 2. And I'm going to hold it up so that way if anybody wants a screenshot, you can see what mats I'm going to be working with. And I did punch 32 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 inch squares with my square punch. Honestly, it just made things a lot quicker and easier when getting ready to put this layout together rather than having to individually cut all of those. And I created a pattern around the outside here that I thought would look nice. And so I'm working on my 13 by 13 cutting mat this time. Because let's face it, we've got a lot of small squares to place down. And I'm going to start about 1/4 of an inch in from each edge. So I'm going to start in the corners first. And then we'll do our centers and work from there. I am using the striped paper that has the foil accent on it for the corners. And I will show you, I'm primarily using mostly the accent papers for the outer edges. And then I picked this blush colored paper for the interior mat. I made one large mat instead of opting for the 4 smaller ones, which has the kind of lines on the back side of it. But so I also have our foiled hearts. I have the marbled foil paper and the hearts, kind of the grid, I guess, if you will, with the hearts on it, as well as the love and ever after paper, the script, if you will. Okay, so I've got the corners down. I'm going to go ahead and get my 4 centers done next. I guess if I'd been thinking I would have put some tape on this before going live, but that's okay. Let me get this recentered again. So that way I know I'm going to be in between the 6s, and it's about 1/8 of an inch in on each side. Don't forget to go up that 1/4 of an inch. So that way you have this nice even line you're going to be working off of. And of course, I just knocked my sheet again. Okay, well, here we go. It's about 1/4 of an inch in and about this, it's like 7/8, 6 7/8, and 5 1/8 over here. And again, we're just going on that in between here. It's like I almost feel like I'm using the 0 centering ruler a little bit, but we're just going in these 2 points here between the 7s and the 5s all the way around our mat here. Okay, here we go. Now I can put tape on everything else and we will get our other pieces centered. But it was just a matter of getting those initial ones set up to make our lives easier and placing all of these squares down. Goodness. Let's see here. So this one is going, it looks like we're going to have about 1/2 inch in between on either side of this one, and probably the same on this side as well. Maybe a little bit between here and up to the 1/4. Okay, there we go. And now, making sure I have um, my hearts facing the direction where they're up. And this is right about 2 3/4 coming down the side here. This one I don't have to worry as much about with the hearts facing up or not here. But it's just more about getting some nice spacing here in between your pieces. And again, you could get out your zero centering ruler again. I'm kind of eyeballing it. I kind of got an idea before going live, but it's roughly a half, maybe a 5/8 is what this spacing is in between all of these. I'm not making it perfect. I can definitely attest to that. And if you want to make it perfect, you absolutely can on your layout. So grabbing my 7.5-inch square here. This one is going to go right in the center of all of my squares. And again, it looks like I've got about 1/4 of an inch border going all the way around here as well. And I just wanted to leave my options open as far as photo sizes for on my mats. I mean, I have, well, this isn't even the right collection, but this is a 4.5 by 6.5 mat. And you can see you can definitely get a larger photo in here, but you also could put photos, going this way on your page as well. So that way you're getting some of the squares. You might be better off with a 4 by 6 size, but you could easily get 3 photos onto your layout as well. You can tell I've been getting ready for the serene waters. That's what those are from. Okay, let's go ahead and put our True Love sticker up here in this left corner. I'm going to go ahead and actually, I'm going to grab this little piece of foam tape I had from my last layout that I cut and rescued from the floor. It had fallen off while I was live streaming. And let's see, I want to put the wedding dress down here in the bottom right corner. Kind of in between these 2 boxes here. I want to kind of center it on our box a little bit if I can. Whew. Okay. I feel like I held my breath for a minute there, just making sure I got that one lined up nicely. So here is the left side of our page. There we go. It's kind of pretty. It's very neutral. And I mean, you could easily not include these embellishments and you could have just a regular page for almost any occasion. Any photos would pop nicely on a neutral page like this. Let's get our right side of our page done. Okay. Now you can see where I almost lost some of it when I was trying to get it onto my extra little space I have next to where I am filming. Okay, here's that. Here's these. Let me pull out my center. You can see I've got one more sticker here. That's going in the corner, and this was down here. Okay, whew. Taking out my center square again. Let's get our corners going again. So it's essentially going to be a mirror of our other page for this right side of the page again, but with a few different stickers for embellishments on our page. But if you go ahead and put the 3 photos on each side, you could easily get 6 photos across both of these pages, and I think that would be not a bad way to go with these, or at least with this one. And I really liked that I was able to use a lot of scraps up that I had from working on. My parents had their 55th wedding anniversary, if you can believe it, last year. And I did an 8x8 album for them as a little memorial of that day and had people write little notes to them and put some photos from when they attended the event next to the page where they wrote their little note, and it became a really nice little project for me. And then my parents really appreciated it when I gave it to them. But in the meantime, when you're working with your 12 by 12 papers and you're sizing it to an 8 by 8 album, you wind up with some scraps because you're cutting some of your pages down a bit. And then I also cut a lot of circles as well. And so this was actually a great way to use up a lot of those scraps I had left from that album. So I was very appreciative of this sketch, actually, to be able to do that. Worked out nicely for me, anyways. And I love that it helps keep me from wasting my foiled pieces, especially because those are, you just feel like they're a little bit extra special. Those pages with that extra little bit on it, and you want to use as much of that paper as you can for your projects. All right, so I'm just going around again, doing the same thing I did on the other side of the page, eyeballing it here a little bit, making sure I'm 1/4 of an inch in, hoping that I'm not putting any of my hearts and my little heart grids upside down. Yep, that one I did. I'm glad I double checked it, because you just never know. That's what happens when you get talking sometimes, is that I just flipped it over and stuck it down and wasn't paying as much attention as I probably should have been there. It happens. We're all human. And now my other 7.5 inch by 7.5 inch square here, going right in the center of my page. And I pulled out these bells, and I think I'm going to go ahead and pop these up as well. I just really thought they added a little extra interest to our layout, and it kind of helps add a little bit of cohesion going through both of the pages as well. I have the jacket for the groom here to go with our wedding dress that we put on the other side, kind of in between these two in this corner. And then I also have a title here for one of our stickers. It says, "And I'd choose you in 100 lifetimes and 100 worlds. In any version of reality, I'd find you and I'd choose you." By, let's see, Kirsten White. The font at the end was a little bit harder to read, but I got it. It only took me an extra minute there, but I got it. Okay, I'm going to grab a little more of my foam tape here to bump up my saying here, just because it's a bit of a larger sticker, and sometimes it's just easier than using multiple foam squares to go ahead and grab out the tape now. And I think I'm going to kind of center it between this little 4 corners here, if you will. All right. That's it for the right side of our page here. How's about that? Let me go ahead and clear out my desk a little bit so I can show you both pages side by side, and then I'll pull our sketch back in as well. Oops. If I'm not dropping everything on the way here. Okay. All right, here they are side by side, and you can see where we kind of do draw things through when we get our photos on. I think it'll be really nice. And pretty much any photos will pop on those pages. Here is our sketch again. It was a single page sketch that I turned into a double. I considered doing more of a rectangle shape through here, but it just didn't look right. So I just went ahead and worked with the squares and used up a few more of my scraps. They have 3.5-inch by 3.5-inch photo recommendations on there. So if you do want to do a 4 square going across, you easily could do that as well. But that is it for sketch number 2. I will be back with sketch number 3 pretty quickly here. Until next time.